What's going on, guys? Sharpshot here. Hope you guys are having a great day so far. So for today's video, we're going to be looking at why Blast Mine is better at tier 1 than it is at tier 3. Before we get into the video, I just want to note that as of this recording, Blast Mine was just seen in the PTB and it's not actually in the full game. So this perk is definitely subject to a lot of change, and since it is a really good perk, I'm assuming that it'll probably get nerfed a little bit by the time it gets into the full game. But I'm going to be explaining what the perk does currently, and then I'm going to give my reasons why I think that the PTB Blast Mine is better at tier 1 than it is at tier 3. So yeah, without further ado, let's get right into the video. Blast Mine is a new perk that was introduced in the Resident Evil DLC with Jill, and it's actually her third teachable that you unlock the teachable version of it at level 40. Blast Mine is a gen trap perk that whenever you repair 66% worth of generators, whether that be on one generator and you repair it to 66%, or you do that progress over multiple generators, Blast Mine then activates. When it's active, after repairing any generator for 3 seconds, you can press the activate ability to put the trap on that specific generator, and the trap stays active for 35, 40, or 45 seconds depending on the tier you have that perk. Once you put the trap on the gen gets highlighted with a yellow aura, and if the killer actually interacts with that gen, it'll explode and it'll stun and blind the killer for 4 seconds. And this perk is really good because if the killer wants to break the progress on that gen and actually kick the generator, they're gonna have to kick it a second time, which wastes a ton of time for the killer. Another really good thing about this perk is that you'll always get really good use out of it, because either the trap gets triggered and stuns the killer, which then you have to regain 66% worth of gen repairs to get it again, or if after 35, 40, or 45 seconds the trap doesn't trigger, it goes right back to you, and then you could re-trap that same generator or a different gen. So this perk is really good in 3 gen situations where the killer is constantly putting pressure on the final 3 gens. You can trap those, and when the killer tries to break it, they'll get stunned and waste a ton of time breaking the progress on that generator, which will then give you time for you and your other survivors to work on the other gens. And it counters really good perks like pop, because nobody's going to want to kick gens with the risk of getting stunned like that. So overall, this perk is really solid, and I actually rated this S tier in one of my previous videos, but I think this perk is better at tier 1 than it is at tier 3, because the time it takes for the trap to come back to you is shorter by 10 seconds. At tier 1, you'll get the trap back at 35 seconds if it doesn't trigger, but at tier 3 you get it at 45 seconds. So a really good strategy with Blast Mine is to not activate it really early while you're working on a gen, not getting pressure. You want to activate it at the last second. When you see the killer coming at you, you quickly activate it and then run off, and if the gen is really far into progress, the killer won't actually chase you. They'll actually kick the gen and they'll get stunned, which will then allow you to escape from that chase really easily. So that's the strategy you want to go for with Blast Mine, and you always want to be able to have the trap on you and be able to choose what gen you want to actually be trapped. So let me give you an example scenario. Say you're working on a generator and you see the killer coming at you and you trap the gen, and the killer doesn't actually kick the gen and just keeps running and chasing you, but say you escape the chase really quickly and move on to another gen that's not the same gen that got trapped, and you see the killer coming at you again really quickly, but you don't have Blast Mine on you. You still have to wait the 45 seconds at tier 3 to get the trap back onto you, and say that gen was really far into the progress and he decides to kick it. Now the killer will have an easy kick and still be able to track you because they saw where you went, they didn't get stunned. So long story short, being able to have the trap on you after 35 seconds is a lot better, because in that scenario, if you had gotten that perk back within that 10 seconds, you would have been able to trap that second gen that you worked on and then stun that killer. So yeah guys, that's why I think tier 1 is better than tier 3. Just to quickly summarize, if you thought that was really confusing, basically having the perk come back to you in a shorter amount of time is better, because you get the perk back 10 seconds faster if it doesn't trigger, and you can then trap a new gen or re-trap the same gen 10 seconds earlier than you would be at tier 3. And this is good because if the killer is pressuring you at a different gen, you'll have a better chance of being able to trap a more recent gen rather than waiting for the older trapped gen to expire. Let me know in the comments if you actually think Blast Mine is better at tier 3 than it is at tier 1. I'd be interested to see why you guys think that. But yeah guys, that's been the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like and subscribe if you're new. This has been Sharpshot, and I will see you guys in the next video.